Yeah, I fucked up. I fucked up because there's no music playing. I realized as soon as I hit start. Sometimes I'm sitting here nervous. I need to just start the stream, but those nerves going on. Just like, I just hit it. And I'm like, wait a second, I forgot something. So give me a second. Because without the music, this is just it's like there's no show. It's like this. What's the difference between this and VW Casual? It's the same show. It's the same fucking show without the music. So if I can fucking find it. How's everyone doing as I do this? It takes a few minutes for the notifications to not send out anyway. So I want to thank anyone who's watching this. We'll get the. There we go. There we go. That sounds a little bit better. That's a little bit better. That's more like it. Vigilante Williamson here on the 64th episode of the Vigilante Williamson show. And I want to thank everybody for putting up with my stuff. Thank you for watching. Whether you're watching this live or on the playback, I really appreciate it. My name is Vigilante Williamson. Well, that's not what's on my birth certificate, to be fair. That'd be awkward if it was. I guess it could be. I mean, people have like, is that your like vigilante or something? I guess. I want to thank everyone. It seems like there were people waiting. Shout out to Wookiee Supremacy. I just want to address this comment first. Not just because it's the first comment. It says, Kirk went to space with a dick rocket, made all the Trek explosion and knickers. Yes, we're very aware. Can we move on, please? So I'm aware, and I know a lot of people are aware. That's kind of the cover story. But the main reason I'm doing it is just because it's something positive, it's something to break from all the insanity. You know what? I think I'm going to talk about another story as I just saw a link pop up as well. Something, actually, a link popped up about the Dave Chappelle thing. And we've talked about that. I still haven't seen The Closer, by the way, which is his new special. And I guess some Netflix have walked out, but I heard some employees got fired. So that's interesting. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about something different, man, because the oppressive reality of reality of that we're in an authoritarian regime, and we don't know how this is going to end. That it may end with us force jabbed with experimental gene therapy and or in camps. And that there's like an inevitability to it. And no amount of like screaming from the hills is going to change it. That's kind of depressive. You know what I mean? So talking about somebody going into space as a break from that, I'm more than happy to do. And hello, Nancy. Appreciate you being here, aka V Star. Hell, one rough girl. You said your first live. You've been on a lot of live episodes. Oh, but you got to go anyway. So yeah, appreciate you. Sup, my nerders. Sup, since you do no buzz. Got a hell again from one rough girl. I don't know if I'm great, but thank you for being here. A salute to one rough girl, and he says it's going to end in blood. No, it's not. It's going to end in a whimper. It's going to end in compliance. Maybe a few people will get whacked, like yours truly. But it's just going to end in a whimper of compliance, man. And I say that, you know why I say that? Normies don't want to know. Normies love, like the term ignorance is bliss is the rallying call of the normie. I say that because, Wookiee's like, oh my God, this fucking Kirk story. You know what story is surprising me as far as his traction? Gay Superman. Because to me, it's just Tuesday, right? To us, it's just Tuesday. Another superhero has been either race swap or gender swap or sexuality swap. That's just par for the course. But like, it's hitting normies like by shock, by surprise. And how it could, I cannot tell you. How, if you've been even paying a little bit of attention, something like Gay Superman could shock you or surprise you or take you off guard. I have no idea. Yeah, you might be right as far as drone. You might be right. So yes, it'll be some, but it'll be mostly a whimper. Yeah, normies are so asleep, and they're comfortable in their bed. like it's almost like, how could that shock you? How did you not know that was coming? But it hit them. It finally hit them what's been happening. Oh my God, this is an attack on masculinity. Did you guys know that? No shit, Sherlock. To all the normies who just found out that they're making characters gay. Actually, you know, I almost oh damn it, almost double did it. But here you go. All the normies who just found out that they're making a lot of characters gay.
Welcome to the party, pal.
It's like this has been going on for like a while. A long time. And now you found out, oh, they made Superman gay. Did you see this? Yeah. Yeah, they did. And they've been doing stuff like this for a while. Hell, I talked about Superman being dead just because of them making him evil so often. But normies didn't even notice that happen. So normies don't want to pay attention. And I saw something else that kind of led me down that path. Speaking of the oppressive gene therapy mandates, Kyrie Irving, basketball player for the Brooklyn Nets, Brooklyn in New York City, they obviously have a lot of jab mandates, and he does not want to get the jab. So I guess he's just going to sit out. And there was like some poll on, I think it was probably YouTube, and I think it was the community section. And it was talking about like, is Kyrie being unfairly criticized? More people said no than yes. And there were people in the comments, well, you need to keep your job, this, that, and the third, or who, just completely for these mandates, completely oblivious to how much. There were some people who were in the comments, this is bigger than just basketball. There's some people who recognize what was going on, but for the most part, it was just this consistency. Oh, what is he doing? He makes billions of dollars. It's just a job. Having no clue that this is going to lead to them being regularly pumped filled with gene therapy for the rest of their lives. For the rest of their lives. And if not, they're going to be mandated, maybe papers, please, more than likely a chip. That's my theory. But we already hear the boosters are going to be rolling out. So it's not just, are you vaccinated now? Are you keeping your vaccination status continually updated? That is where we're leading. And the normies, even though it should be obvious, because it wasn't 15 days or 14 days to slow the spread. Every time it used to be, okay, we just want to keep the hospitals in check. Now we just want the cases to be zero. And then if the cases are even one in certain countries, looking at you, New Zealand, and then see what is going on in Australia, it's okay to just completely lock down all society. And there are normies that are all for it. For a disease with a 99.98% or 0.8% survival rate. They are all for it. They don't care. They're not going to see. So this is not going to end in blood. It can't, because there's not going to be any resistance. There are so many normies asleep that they could just Epstein the rest of us. They don't even have to go some wild drone. They could just disappear. I don't know what happened to them. And we live in a world where Epstein's can happen anyway. I mean, live in a world where you say the wrong thing, you get Epstein. That's just reality. That the government wants to look at every financial transaction you make. And they want to tell you to get pumped full of chemicals. And the normies just, don't you have a problem with that? Most will comply. I agree, with some will get drunk. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll even need to. How can anyone be shocked at this point? It's par for the course. Well, normies don't notice. They don't notice. They don't care. And so that's why they're shocked. And no, I'm straight. No, Vigilante Williamson. Someone told me look up Cinemax. I looked it up. It's disturbing. I told my normie about it. Looked it up on Google for her. You know what her reply was? I just don't believe that's true. Of course. Normies don't want to believe obvious things. They don't want to believe things that are presented to them. Mark Twain says easier to convince some or to fool somebody to convince someone they've been fooled. So through those normies who have no idea and they are willfully ignorant. That's why it's, I don't see blood. I don't see there's some protests. You still see protests in France. and in Australia. But those aren't. It doesn't matter because so many normies rather be comfortable, and plus they have the media brainwashing the shit out of them. Sheep are gonna sheep. They absolutely are. Anything else? She goes straight to Google and believes every word. Normies want to be ignorant. Absolutely. That's really that's the long and short of it. Normies want to not know. They love to not know. Chris Rock used to say this about another N word. They love to not know. Normies love to not know. They really do. They just fetishize their ignorance. And yeah, don't forget to smash the like button. You know that. You know that. You know that. All right. Rant aside, let's talk about William Shatner. Yes, that's the cover story. Yes, it's a lot of people are talking about it. The grand scheme of things, how big of a deal is it, right? But it's cool. It's still cool nonetheless. I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theories about us in space. I don't believe the Earth is flat, and I don't know about all that. But I don't know that we've necessarily been to every place, every celestial object that we've said that we've been to. Looking at you, Moon. You can look at Buzz Aldrin's reaction and see why I think that. In any event, I still think this is a cool thing, man. Provided everything is this isn't CG, so this is another fake. This is really cool. It's William Shatner. It's Captain Kirk. A lot of people who work in the sciences and work in rocket science, actual fucking rocket science, were no doubt influenced by Star Trek and by going where no man has gone before. And it's cool to see that come full circle. It's such a dark world with an oppressive authoritarian regime trying to murder a significant percentage of its population. It's cool to just see, you know what? This is just a cool moment. It's just a bright spot. I end the show with positive stories. It actually got a funny meme today you guys may have seen. For this reason, I'm sorry if a million people have talked about it. I get it. I understand that. And you guys show love to my man, the Wake Down. Shout out to the Wake Down. He's helping me clip out the show. I haven't posted them because I'm lazy, but we will start getting clips posted up probably throughout tomorrow and throughout the weekend and into Monday and whatever we can get them posted. And hopefully, guys and gals who can't see the whole show, you guys can see just excerpts of it. So thank you, Wake Down. I appreciate your help. All right. William Shatner reacts to space travel after returning to Earth. Star Trek icon William Shatner, who played Captain James Tiberius Kirk in Star Trek, the original series. It obviously was not called the original series. It was just called Star Trek initially. Neither here nor there. Numerous films recently reacted to traveling in space upon returning to Earth. Shatner traveled to space upon the Blue Origin. Excuse me. Ooh, throat. Jesus. Shatner traveled to space upon the Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket on October 13th. The rocket launched around 10:50 a.m. Eastern. You can watch the rocket launch. I'm not going to go there because it's a long ass video. The crew capsule where Shatner, Chris Bozian, Glenn DeVries, and Audrey Powers made their trip to space, returned to the ground a few minutes later with Shatner saying, "Unlike anything I've ever felt before." And he's the oldest person to fly in space at the age of 90. Holy smokes. After exiting the capsule, Shatner embraced Blue Origin CEOs and former Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. That's right, he's not the CEO anymore. But he's the Amazon guy, and I guess Blue Origin is the Amazon rocket, the dick rocket, as Wookie said. Shatner is then unable to describe the trip. He eventually collected himself and says it was unbelievable. Unbelievable thing. Unbelievable. Unbelief. The little things of weightlessness. To see the blue color go right by you and now you're staring in the blackness. That's the thing. Jesus. Hulu. He continued, the covering of blue, this sheet, this blanket, this comforter of blue we have around us. We think, oh, that's the blue sky. And then suddenly you shoot through all of it, and as sudden as you whip off a sheet when you are asleep, you're looking into the blackness. The black, why is black got to be ugly? You bigot. No, I'm just joking. The black ugliness, you look down, and there's the blue, and you look up, and the black up there, and it's just mother and earth and comfort. And here is there death? I don't know. Is that death? Is that the way death is? Whoop! It is gone. Still overwhelmed by his emotions, Shatner said, Jesus, it was so moving to me. This experience has been something unbelievable. Weightlessness, my stomach went up. I went, God, this is so weird. But not as weird as seeing the covering of blue. This is what I've never expected. It's one thing to say the sky and the thing is fragile. It's all true. He added, but what isn't true, what is unknown until you do it, is this pillow. There's this soft blue, the beauty of that color, and it's so thin, and you're through it in an instant. In another clip, Shadow describes this trip to space, most profound experience I can imagine. He told Bezos, what you've given me is the most profound experience I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what happened. It's extraordinary, extraordinary. Hope to never recover from this. I hope I can maintain what I feel now. I don't want to lose it. It's so much larger to me in life. He was pretty happy about it. I'm pretty happy about it, man. Flying has always been like, I wish if I had any superpower, it would be to fly. Any idea? I wish I could fly to space. That would be really cool. And I don't know if I would have the same profound experience. Maybe I would. Maybe it'd be more profound. Who knows? But I think that's really cool. Oh boy, you guys are going at my man Bezos. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. To be fair, couldn't care less about this, but hey, good for him. It's a positive story. I usually end with positive stories. We got some depressing stuff. We always got some dark stuff to talk about. This isn't as dark as other episodes have been, but still, it's just something positive. Plus, I didn't know what to name this episode after. I'm like, that's positive. I know, Wookie. I know. Of course, the SJWs couldn't let them have the spotlight for 24 hours before Twitter lit up about the first black astronaut that was also in the episode of Star Trek. Shout out to the first black astronaut. Twitter doesn't count. Blue Origin absolutely sounds like a Viagra substitute. Don't they have Blue Chew? Is that the Viagra substitute? And yeah, for Bezos, that's exactly what it was. Well, hey, it wasn't good enough. Oh, Jesus, such a dildo. It wasn't good enough because his wife left him for a fucking teacher, and wouldn't black superpower be swimming? There are black people who can swim. I used to be able to swim. I just don't now because I don't go to water like a fucking whale. I used to know how to swim. So there you go, you old racist. Know how to swim. My reason actually is I was actually taught to swim because my grandma took us to a fucking YMCA in Detroit and they taught me how to swim. So there you go. Ignorance. Ignorant is the foe of such a dildo, but that's how he is. So yeah, there's nothing really to this story. It's very basic, but it's cool. It's cool in a very dark world to see. I don't know if this is a dream come true, but it's just it's things coming full circle. Captain Kirk made it to space. And Wade Down said he finally watched the close with Dave killed it, and they're going to cancel it for sure. So I haven't seen it. I do have to check it out. We saw a little. We talked a little bit about that. Apparently, some Netflix people have walked out, and I thought the one demon I was talking about got fired, but we'll see. This is probably another story you guys may not care about, but I figured I'd cover it. I do want to cover it because I guess covering the box office really doesn't matter, which only God knows what if these numbers are real and what they mean in this current state. It seems like they're improving more recently. A lot of people had it in for No Time to Die. I didn't see it. I had no interest in seeing it because I don't really like the current James Bond. I don't like Daniel Craig. I thought Casino Royale was good. The rest of it, Skyfall was watchable. The rest of it, I could never see again and be happy as a clam. So I had no interest in seeing No Time to Be Two or Plenty of Time to Be Two. But it is the worst box office opening for Daniel Craig James Bond. So we'll just talk about this in a couple of other box office movies or box office performances. Again, I get it. This isn't the juiciest stuff, but Still relevant. Still relevant. Latest James Bond installment, No Time to Die, took the top spot at the domestic box office despite a poor showing and underperforming expectations and predictions. According to the numbers, the film grossed 55.2 million its opening weekend. That was enough to best Venom, which earned another 31.7 in its second weekend. So that's still doing pretty good as far as that movie. The rest of the top five was the Addams Family 2. And I was actually, I did this last night. I was yesterday many days old when I knew that there was even an Addams Family movie, a modern version of this, for there to be a sequel to the Addams Family to exist. I did not know there was an Addams Family, like they rebooted this franchise at all. I had no idea. But the second one bought 10 million in. So there you go. Shang-Chi bought in another 4.3 million. Yes, that's still in the theater. And the Many Saints of Newark, which a lot of people were high on, but it doesn't look like it was that successful. With 1.4 million just edging out Free Guy, which is again still in the theaters. So that's pretty much it as far as the theaters. No Time to Die, 55.2 million domestic opening, 6.9 during the Columbus Day weekend. That's not really a weekend, but it did gross 318 million globally. So yeah, because it did open a couple weeks early in international markets, or a week early, is bought in 256 million. So that's actually not a bad haul altogether. Now, international gross, well, outside of Britain, because obviously it's a British thing. So outside of the West, they don't get as big of a chunk as they do elsewhere. As they do, like I said, domestically, or in this case, I would say Britain would also count for James Bond domestic, because it's, oh Jesus, I am sorry, I'm trying to get rid of this thing. Jesus, Bounding, I know, I need a fucking um, ad blocker, and I just gotta do it. This is Bounding. How am I supposed to use your site with this? I can't. I literally can't read the article because of the ad. Thank you, Bounding, in the comments. I love you to pieces, but come on, bro. Come on. Okay. But I guess this did underperform relative to what they thought. They said on October 7th, earned between 70 and 105 million, and didn't hit those marks. Did anybody see this movie? Because like I said, I had no interest in seeing it, and now I have no interest in even reading this article. Thank you for nothing about it. Love you to pieces, but yeah. But did anyone see this movie? Let's see what you guys actually are talking about. The closer. I says, all right, back to work. I'll catch this episode later when I'm editing it. All right. Thank you, Wake Down. I appreciate Wake Down's work, man. I gotta start posting those videos. He's uncancelable. We'll see. We'll see. It's easy to say that and for us to think that. It doesn't mean it's the truth. It doesn't mean he's unbendable. Nobody is. No matter what you think. They can't cancel Chappelle. He says everywhere he goes. They could try, just like they've been trying to doing for years and years. We'll see. I hope they can. I hope you guys are right. But I like Dave Chappelle. I like him a lot. But I just don't have that. I like I said, no matter who I like, no matter what I think of somebody, I always assume that they're going to end up bending the knee. So I will see. I hope you guys are right. You would think it's hard to cancel him because it's like he's a comedian. There's a built-in audience that's gonna fuck with him anyway. I saw something. He says this is what feels like cancel. This is what being canceled feels like. It's awesome or some shit. I hope he's uncanceled. We will see. We will see. But again, different people get different phone calls. They say, "Hey, you're going to bend the knee or else." So we'll see if that happens to him. I hope it does not. And a salute to my man, the Wake Down. Everyone's saying, "What's up to the Wake Down?" And hey, what's up to Brightest Day? The day just got brighter. And Cinch and Dildo said this is the second best Craig Bond movie. That's not high praise to me, man. I did not like his set of movies. I'm happy to see him gone. Happy to see him gone. Got us up to a Brightest Day. And Wookie has no interest in going to the theater at all. I'm patient. I can wait. I went to see Shang-Chi just to go to the theaters. I'm interested. I still want to see. I probably would go see that probably terrible Spider-Man movie as far as theaters. I had no interest in this movie. I'm glad it's just finally out. It's making quite a bit. It's making more than I thought it would. I'm sure it's going to be under that 900 million number it needs to clear because of how much it costs and how long it's been sitting on the shelves and the funding and the interest and all that. I'm sure it's not going to make that, but it's already a third there, and that's a lot further than I thought it would be. Yeah, Cinch Dildo agrees. Be happy to see him gone. Terrible, Bob. Terrible. Terrible. Before they even tried their agenda. And again, to piggyback off what I said about Superman, they did this with James Bond. You didn't think they would do it with Superman? I guess he's not gay. They cucked him. So Ghostbusters Afterlife. There's really no transition into that. I guess transition. I probably shouldn't use that. Can I use the term transition anymore? And hell, Fish Chozo's here. Fish Chozo's here. Please check out Goofanoid. It's Indiegogo. And I still have not put that like a bot so we can promote that in the chats. But thank you for showing up, Fizz. I appreciate it. So Ghostbusters Afterlife. I am not interested in this movie. I know a lot of people who were Ghostbusters fans, hated the 2016 movie, maybe didn't see it, hated the idea of it, and they're championing this movie. And I gotta say, man, I think Ghostbusters is two movies in the 80s in a cartoon and video game, but I don't really consider it a franchise. I think Ghostbusters is one of those things that should have never continued to this extent. It should not have gotten a modern sequel, rather in woke or at all, because I don't think it'll add to the story. I don't think Ghostbusters Afterlife is going to be good. And even though we're reading critics, we're going to see what the critics think. Let's be honest, the critics don't fucking matter. They don't. The critics are all bought and paid. They may love this. And segue, not transition. But I didn't have a segue. You need a segue to do it. So I get, but you're probably right. You gotta be sensitive. Gotta be sensitive. I am almost at the number. Where's Man of War at? I noticed that. And I gotta do something so I can skip the number. So what I'm probably gonna do is if I hit 666, I'm sub to myself, so I will unsub until I hit it again, then resub to go to 667 to avoid the number altogether. I always thought Superman was closeted gay, constantly going to the phone booth to change his outfit and shit. Yeah, in public, the hell, a voyeuristic thing. But yeah, with Ghostbusters Afterlife, I am not. It's like, oh, they're going to save the franchise. They got rid of the women, so it's all better now. I was like, no, this still shouldn't be happening. This still shouldn't be happening. But let's see what critics think. I've not read through this article because I wanted to kind of get a feel for it and react live. I'm not a diehard Ghostbusters fan like a lot of people, but I am a fan of the two movies. They're really good, and I especially the first one. And it's just like, I don't think we need these over again. I'm with Bill Murray. We should have just kept it at one. We should have just kept it at one. And I know that's not the most profitable way to do it. We want to see things beaten into the ground. But certain properties should just be themselves. They should just be, this is what it was. That's it. This is RoboCop. This is Beverly Hills Cop. This is whatever the property. That's it. We don't need to constantly. We need a modern remake. We need to do it in this era. No. Yeah, I do have a backup accounts too, brightest days. I'll figure it out. We'll be trying to avoid the number. In any event, Ghostbusters Afterlife reviews are rolling in from critics who've seen the film. It stars Paul Rudd, Finn Wolfhard, that's not a real name, McKenna Grace, that probably isn't either, and Carrie Coon, racist. On Metacritic, a film has a Metascore with 7 positive reviews, 3 mixed reviews, and 1 negative review. So Metascore of 62. So this is, again, do critics matter? No. Until the fan score comes out, we really don't know how this movie is. But let's see what they say anyway. Rosie Knight at IGN, so a woman, she gives the film a 90. She writes, director Jason Reitman does his father, and fans proud with a funny, sweet, spooky family movie that proudly takes on the legacy of Ghostbusters while introducing something new and exciting. Sure, that review just sounds like it just was written. It sounds like a review the studio could have wrote, but sure. John Oleksinski, Oleksinski. We'll go with that. Johnny Oleksinski at the New York Post gave the movie an 88. He writes, Reitman finds the perfect tone here. He's skilled at getting genuine performance out of young actors, and he proved in Juno. I forgot he was the Juno director. Balancing humor with stakes, essential for comedy horror like Ghostbusters. The jokes are very funny, and Wolfhard and Grace make life-threatening peril look like a ball. Jane Crowder at Total Film gives the movie an 80. She writes warm, witty, and full of wonder. Afterlife reanimates a franchise without spitting on his grave. That's an interesting review, especially from a Total Film. I get, I would think that's a little bit more normie oriented. Sherry Linden at the Hollywood Reporter gives the film an 80. She writes a franchise update origin story coming of age movie comedy indulgent FX extravaganza. The feature written by the director and Gail Cannon. Monster House hits all of its marks. I'm sorry about uh, pronunciation of a few things. My throat's been a little weird. That I'm fat. Ollie Richards at Empire gives the movie an 80. He writes, it's always fun, inventive, of charm. You have any concerns that Reitman's films may sully the legacy of his dad's greatest creation? There's nothing to be afraid of. There is that obviously is being created by the son, the original director. William Babani at the Rap gives it a 71. He states Reitman's director may be sharp and professional, but it's only in the service of familiar material, so it falls to an excellent cast to make the most of a very repetitive situation. Okay, are these basically okay? No, sorry to get into some of the negative reviews or less positive. Peter the Bird gives it a 70. He says the good news for Ghostbusters is that Afterlife does nothing to tarnish what's come before. That's a massive improvement. All right, Christian Holeb gives it a 58. He's at Entertainment Weekly for what it's worth. Some jokes here. Paul Rudd brings in a little lightness to the proceeding as the kid's science teacher, Mr. Gruberson, but it's hard to escape the overall sensation of, a corpse being exhumed. That's what I'm actually worried about. Like, okay, this is just a reanimation of a corpse of a franchise. Jesse Hassinger of AGB Club gives it a 50. Yeah, they stay. Afterlife wants desperately to summon the spirit of watching the first movie back in 1984. It winds up ghoulish in the wrong way. I see what they did there. Courtney hired at IndieWire. Who cares about the IndieWire again? Gave it a 50. She says Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters Afterlife hits the reboot button once more, carrying this time carrying a familiar cinematic legacy, yet with all nostalgia packed into the picture. Its own refurbished identity is slightly compromised, functioning as a mimeograph of what came before it. And I think this is the last. This is there's Jesus, all these different people's reviews. Oh my god, Jesus! Because you got new Rotten Tomatoes, which obviously is just as legit as fucking Metacritic. Look at that sandwich. Shout out to the sandwiches. I don't give a fuck about another reboot or origin story bullshit cash grab. That's my thought. As I read through these reviews, I'm like, oh god, it's just this is a cash grab. Some people will be happy just that they're getting a new installment to a franchise they care about and they're not being shamed. Like they've beaten you into submission. You used to want good installments of franchises. Now mediocre will pass just because they're not calling you a istophobe. But God, I just don't want to see this movie. I don't have an interest in it. May the morning star lead us into the void. Whoa, I don't know about all that, Wookie. I believe in the most high description. We're gonna try to avoid that number. Evil sandwich. Too evil, yeah. Too evil for me. What? But some critics don't like it. Some critics don't. Oh, black girl nerds. We need to care. We care what they think. I've never heard it say. But fans of the original, she says, fans of the Catalina Combs, a black girl nerds, probably is a white trans woman for all we know, because we know how much they love black people. Fans of the original 1984 Ghostbusters will have fun with Ghostbuster Afterlife. You will laugh. You will be thrilled. It's a love letter to the original and the fans. And maybe that's if it is this. I think a lot of people will like it. I just don't have this interest in it. I'm at a point where outside of wokeness, outside of all the agenda, outside of everything they're doing, I just want good original franchises. I'm sick of the well being, going to the well time and time again with past franchises. Now, to some, and this may be rightful, this is kind of a scalp, right? Because there was so much push for Ghostbusters 2016 and they had to reverse course. So, to some people, this is a victory for us. This is, hey, they were making, yeah, it is October, I guess. That's nothing. Like, of course, I'll go over this milestone in this month. But yeah, a lot of people just want, okay, they were making this woke, now they're not making it woke, therefore we win. It's like, yeah, not untrue, but I still got to care about this. There's still wokeness aside, there's still corpse, grave robbing with these franchises. They keep going to old franchises over and over and over and over and over again. And we cannot get something new out of Hollywood. That's to me as big of an issue as the agenda. Now, obviously, the agenda, is huge. We saw it happen with the Superman thing. We saw that normies finally realized what was going on. Ghostbusters 2016 didn't clue him in, apparently. That didn't clue him in. Last Jedi didn't clue him in. None of this shit clued him in. Then they see Superman kissing somebody. Oh, kissing the man. Oh my God. What's going on? Attacking masculinity. But in the case of Ghostbusters, it's just like, oh, well, they reverse course. We have a victory. Maybe we do. I think we just have a cash grab of a movie. Maybe it'll be decent. I don't know what to. The reason I did this on the reviews because I wanted to see is there a consensus either way. Is there a like this is terrible, or this is there a lot of flowery agenda talk? This was so brave and stunning. It just sounds like a solid family movie that's using an old franchise. And that may be enough for you. And that's fine if that's enough for you. I want you to enjoy the new Ghostbusters. I really do. I'll have to pass. I have to pass like Steve Nash. Why women can relate to the black folk struggle. I love the spelling. Thank you, Sister Dildo. What racist thing did Wookie say? I remember being in a trailer park in black and white. The struggle was exactly the same. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I wasn't racist. That wasn't racist, Sister Dildo. I thought it was some actual racist stuff. White privilege doesn't exist. Rich privilege does. I tend to agree with that. I tend to agree that there's a greater privilege for wealth. And I grew up in some rural areas where there was a lot of poor white. So that kind of led me to a similar view as you, Wookie. So I because there, you know what? There are indeed people who pedestalize like whiteness. That like as much as this hatred against white people, there's a lot of people that pedestalize. I'm not one of these people. Class privilege. I'm not one of these people, man. You guys are wonderful, but I'm not like somebody who's looking to pedestalize you for demonization, for worship. We're all just humans. Humans trying to human on this earth, on this fucking spinning rock, and do the best we can. I don't, I'm not the guy that hates you and says, "Oh, my life is terrible because of some white person." I'm not the guy that's like, "Oh my God, I love white people. Please approve of me." That's not me. That's not me. People are just people, man. People are just people, and it's gonna get harder to people. It's not because of this movie, because this is gonna continue. I talked a little bit about the Kyrie Irving situation, which I probably should talk a little bit more about now that I think about it. How much time do we got? We'll see. We'll see. Actually, let me get some of these old tabs. I mean, but the situation, it's all the same. We have somebody getting terminated, the creature modeler for Disney. I don't know why they work on Transformers. Is that why they're yeah, they did. They work on this individual had worked on Transformers. But they will be fired for not complying with the COOF mandate, or they have been fired. So, and this is begin the normalization of the dehumanization of people who don't want gene therapy. And again, it will become regular gene therapy, and that's because not a racist dude. Yeah, I'm not. I am absolutely not. Uh, but yeah, they are going to mandate gene therapy for everyone, and that's the federal mandate. Every company with an employee count over a certain number has to have a mask of white supremacy. Such a dildo. But everybody with an employee count over a certain number has to comply, and this is going to be the. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. These people who don't want to get their gene therapy that won't stop them from transmitting this disease that we're trying to be safe from, but it won't stop them from transmitting. We know there are people who will still get infected, still go to the hospital despite this gene therapy, which is why they want to use booster gene therapy and ignore all other treatments, suppress all other treatments, not allow you to say different treatments on air, at least on this platform, to force you into gene therapy. And if you don't want that gene therapy, you'll be fired. And the next step that these normies don't realize is if you don't resist your regular gene therapy, you'll be fired. So these normies are now enabling themselves to get pumped full of chemicals to the point where they get sick, when they start noticing, hey, a lot of people are getting these issues because after shots 50 of gene therapy, of our regular gene therapy, year 20, a lot of people aren't fucking growing 8 arms or just going kaput. Notice a lot of people can't get pregnant all of a sudden in the past 10 years. There just haven't been as many kids. I wonder why. I don't know. Maybe this experimental gene therapy that everyone was forced to consistently get twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, whatever they're going to force it at. Maybe there was something to it. Maybe we shouldn't have just yelled at all those meat anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers that disappeared. It's weird that they just all disappeared. You remember such and such? He just used to. Where did he go? What happened to him? That's how normies are gonna think when it really hits the fan. That's what the Superman shit told me. They won't get it until they're like well past it, well in it. Well, what happened to those camps they used to have? I don't think they have those camps anymore. Oh well, let's just go about. Let me just get Facebook and Starbucks, Instagram and Starbucks, TikTok and Starbucks. I don't know. Normie life, Netflix, CNN, TikTok, Starbucks, normie life. I'll just get my jab, normie life. Oh Jesus, no, fuck the Klan, man. It's trust science, bro. Basically, trust science, bro. Normie life. I wonder how many of the banking royals took the jab. Probably 0%. 0.0%. Because listen, who's going to run the world? So this guy, and I'm just going to pronounce the brother's last name, Christian. Well, I can probably do it. Krishnamurti Costa, Brazilian-born lead creature modeler at ILM, or Industrial Light and Magic, a subsidiary of Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company. Reported that Disney will terminate him on October 13th for not complying with the jab mandate. Costa has worked a number of high-budget motion pictures, including Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, Pacific Rim, Jurassic World, Warcraft, Kong Skull Island, Aquaman, Bumblebee, The Force Awakens, and more. So he's a accomplished special effects guy. What was his exact role? A creature modeler. So an accomplished modeler in Hollywood. He says, official today, I got the word that Disney will be terminating me on October 30th, maybe a few days later. After 14 years of service, that's how it all is. Reason, no, my work doesn't suck. I am not a terrible employee at all. I'm actually quite busy at the moment. My team and managers appreciate me. Don't want me to leave either, but this is coming all the way from the top. The reason is that I am not complying with their no job mandate. That is all he's declared. Informed consent was thrown out the window. Personal choice was ignored. Their only option was compliance, meaning there's no option. Shout out to him for standing up. One of the biggest things that people need to do. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your life, man. If you've gotten a jab because you didn't want to go through the situation this brother's going through, this Costa's going through, because you just like, I just want to keep my job. I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'll take the jab. I'll take the risk. I just want to keep my job. I'm not shaming you. I'm not knocking you. You gotta do what you gotta do. But if you don't, if you're willing to, if you're like him saying, no, I'm not going to comply, and whatever the ultimate consequence is, the ultimate consequence, you do need to let it be known. I know you will get shamed. You will be shamed by that, by the way. You will be shamed for that. But the only way the people who do not want the jab, who do not want to live, and again, it's not going to stop here, just like it didn't stop at 15 days to slow the spread. It's not gonna stop until those boosters are mandated, and there's an automated way of making sure that you're up to date on your jab before you enter every single building you enter. That is the end game. So once you're there, you're now forcing everyone to do gene therapy, as I keep calling it. That's it. So if you don't want that, if you're like, you know what, we have to. This needs to be the line. This needs to be nope, not gonna get it, and I have to let people know, even if I get shamed, just because the lack of us in society is the only thing that's gonna cause anything. If you're part of the tradesmen, a lot of tradesmen tend to lead. We'll just say non-leftists. I don't want to call it conservative. We'll say non-leftists. So maybe you don't want to or need to get the jab. If there's some mandate, you gotta wait it out. And it's rough. It's hard to tell people what to do with financial decisions. It really is. That's why I don't want to tell people what to do with their financial decisions. Again, if you got the jab because you want to keep your job, I understand it. There's no shame. There's no disrespect. Nothing. But if you don't want to, you gotta let it be known so other people realize it's not just me. And in case there's anyone else who could use your services now, with someone with a specific Hollywood skill set, I don't know. I wish there was a bigger alternative scene where there was, similar to how it is in comics. If somebody who's a skilled professional in comics, they can be hired for a project outside of mainstream. It doesn't quite work that way in Hollywood, unfortunately. And I feel for this guy as a result. This is bullshit. And again, it's obviously not just him. The hundreds of people, thousands of people across the country, if not millions, are going to have this, make this decision. We talked about Tuesday, because yesterday was the Culture Crime Fires on Matt's channel. So please check out Matt for 5 Mall Productions so you can see our episode yesterday. It was pretty cool. But we talked the other day, Tuesday, about a lot of the nurses in Quebec who were relieved of their positions because they didn't want to get this gene therapy. The only thing we could do to protest, I mean, you can do your little automated protest or whatever, but it's to hold ground. It's to say, you know what, you will have the societal void of me. And maybe that isn't enough. I don't know that anything's going to be enough because I don't know how this thing ends. I have no idea how this thing ends. But I know unless you want, again, the permanence of consistent gene therapy for the rest of your and every living individual on this planet's life, unless you want that reality, and you got to fight back against it. And you got to be willing to lose some things, lose some comfort. The one thing I need to do, I just started this job. I haven't heard anything about this, knock on wood. I got to get my savings up as high as it can in case a rainy day happens. And you guys will see me even more on this platform than you already do. So he Instagrammed about it. It's important. And I'm sure he got a lot of shit. A lot of people, why don't you just do They won't understand until they're in the gulag. They have no ability to comprehend until they're in the gulag. And then Costa, the question you might ask, aren't you working remotely? The answer is yes. Guess what? So is everyone in the studio at least until January 22. So if people in the entire studio are only getting back into the building in January, what sense does it make people to fire people in October? Does that really sound like a health concern? It obviously is not, because yeah. So he's not even working around people. So he cannot. This gene therapy does not stop the transmission of the disease, even if it did. Even if it did, it wouldn't impact him because he's not working around people, yet they're still firing him because this is not about health. Normies still think that though, because normies didn't know Superman was going to be gay until they made him. They hadn't even announced that, weeks and weeks ago or months ago, whatever it was. Then it finally happened. Oh my God, did you know this? Yeah. He continued, I can't believe this is happening. It's bizarre world. I miss my team and friends at ILM. Incredible, talented, generous artists. I respect. It was a conscious choice, though, so no regrets. Life goes on. Stay true to your core beliefs. I agree. Be honest. Work hard. Take good care of your minds, bodies, and souls. Life is a gift, he concluded. I wish this brother the best. So yeah, I guess 2 weeks he announced he was looking for work outside of ILM. Posted after many years away from LinkedIn, it's time to reactivate. The reason is, even though I'm not sure how things will play out, might be looking for a new home in a month or two. So yeah. So this is him posting his job. This is one person's experience. Somebody this is some of the work I guess he does really good. He modeled the King Kong skull, so he does a lot of models. Really good work. Being fired because he isn't jabbed. And this is going to be common. It already is common. A lot of jobs are mandating it. This is one of the reasons I want to get to Texas, but we don't know if it's going to still, how these federal mandates will work out. Let's see. Oh, wait, first you guys are talking about this black white supremacy sketch, the Chappelle sketch. Chappelle show. Yeah, the whole idea of a black white supremacist is ridiculous. It's actually people think it's real. Because normies, well, I don't know if those people are normies. Those are more leftists, because that hasn't hit normies yet. I guess people thought Chappelle's black white supremacist skit was for real rookie. They absolutely do. They think Larry Elder is what's the guy's name? Oh shit. I can't think of what the character's name. Clayton Bigsby. They think Larry Elder is Clayton Bigsby. They absolutely do. And I'm not even a diehard Larry Elder guy. I don't care if people take the shot unless they try to shame people who didn't take it. Yeah, me either. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. The blind guy, right? What happened to my body, my choice that went out the window with a quickness? No, they still say that. It's still my body, my choice if Texas makes a heartbeat law, but it's not that way for everything. It's only for women to be whores. They only enable the destruction of women. They don't enable anything else. So only if it can destroy women, then yeah, they can enable it. It's your choice, your body, your choice to let a bunch of random semen hit your eggs and then destroy them when they're born. If you're looking for logical consistency for them, pal, you'll be disappointed with you. Absolutely. Wasn't for hypocrisy, they wouldn't be consistent at all. They didn't have double standards, they have no standards. Nah, they'll still believe they ended up in the gulag by some mistake. You're probably right. You're probably right. For real, Wookie. Yeah, that Kong does look great. And Fish Shoulder says he finds a lot of great character models on ArtStation. I've never heard of ArtStation. Boss doesn't want the jab. There's no way he's going to fire me, but I'm self-employed, so there's that. That's the way to be. That's the way to be. That's the way I got to get. Woke idiots think Uncle Ruckus is real. There was that one guy, I think it might have been the guy who played his voice, who was doing like an Uncle Ruckus thing as a gimmick. But some people will die with their agenda. Their agenda, the ideologue situation is so paramount because people's ideals have become their children. They've become so more valuable. Like, it's so much more valuable for people to have people that agree with them than to have didn't even care about the kids. The modern parents, especially a lot of the single parents, are so busy on Instagram and TikTok, they don't even give a shit about their kids. But that's not every parent. And I said to say this. Why am I talking about parents? Because it's a segue or transition to the next topic. It's about to get dark, guys. So, trigger warning. We talk about this education system. We talk about the agenda. You guys can read the subject line or the headline. This is just the beginning. This is not going to get any better. It is going to cause a lot of issues. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this could be the thing that pushes normies. We can talk about the Ruckus things. The base black dude that trolls on epic level. He sounds like Ruckus every so often. Well, this is the nightmare that we were worried about. Now, I want to just preface everything with everything is alleged. These are involving, I believe, teenagers. So all the information I have on this is as accurate as this report. It's everything's alleged. I don't know any details as far as the validity of all the claims that are being in this article. But just at the headline, the father of a girl who was allegedly raped by a transgender student in a girl's bathroom speaks out as a parent demand a superintendent resign. So as we get into this article, because I did read a little bit through this beforehand, we will not only discover about this alleged incident, again alleged, that there are other alleged incidents of individuals, male individuals, going into the girl's bathroom with a skirt and doing the unthinkable. And because remember, you don't want to be a bigot, you don't want to deny anyone's expression, deny anyone's truth. So if a male says I'm a male, because even though you've done put no effort in the transition, all it is put on a skirt, you're supposed to run with it. And then when something like this happens, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, it may or may not be covered up. I say may or may not because everything's alleged. If you guys remember or if you guys know, the thing that struck me was a lot of the grooming games they got in Europe, in particular England, with a lot of the I'm not trying to cast aspersions on this whole religion. Lord knows that the world hates Abrahamic religions, but a lot of those individuals happen to be Muslim. And instead of properly enforcing the rules, because it wasn't politically convenient to do so, they didn't. So a lot of these people were able to groom and assault a great number of young women, and for all intents and purposes, face no consequences. And that's the fear I have with not just this particular story, but the potentiality in this world where anything that is not worshiping the LGBTQ community is considered heresy, that stories like this, if they do indeed happen, will be covered up because they don't fit the ideologue, they don't fit the agenda, they don't fit what we're being pushed. So let's get into this story, and let's see what we have. At Loudoun County School Board meeting on Tuesday morning, 60 parents, students, residents were demanded that Loudoun County Superintendent Scott Ziegler resign from his position following the allegations the school district covered up two, not one, but two sexual assaults. Concerned parents pointed to the two alleged, these again, alleged. I don't want any legal smoke. They pointed to two alleged sexual assaults. The first reportedly took place May 28th, with Scott Smith, the victim's father, claiming that his ninth grade daughter was assaulted in a bathroom by a boy wearing a skirt. Attorney for the father of the alleged victim, Elizabeth Lancaster, said the boy was charged with 2 counts of forcible sodomy, 1 count of anal sodomy, 1 count of forcible fellatio. So the boy was indeed charged. We can confirm a May 28th case that involved a thorough 2-month-long investigation that was conducted to determine the facts of the case prior to the arrest. Case is still pending court proceedings, and the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office is unable to provide any documents to pertain to a pending case. Now, isn't it interesting? In this post Me Too environment, Me Too, believe all women. If a woman is assaulted by somebody that agenda doesn't fit, all of a sudden you don't. Isn't that interesting? The school system does it. The same wicked school system. Remember again that if you're against the school system, you can be trapped by the FBI. Remember that, because that's a new thing. So now the school, if your kid gets assaulted, but it's an inconvenient assaulter, it can be covered up. And if you got an issue with it, maybe the FBI goes after you. Hopefully, that's not the reality we're walking into. But we will see. Sheriff's office confirmed that the case involved a sexual assault, talking about the May 28th case. Despite this case, Ziegler said at a June 22nd board meeting that the predator transgender student or person simply does not exist. And to his knowledge, we don't have any record of assault in our restrooms. This is what he said the 22nd, where it doesn't like that was the case. Speaking with Laura Ingram on Tuesday, Smith said he had attended the June 22nd school board, or he had attended the June 22nd school board meeting to find out why our children weren't safe. And I went to see what was going on after my daughter had been assaulted. And there was some crazy stuff being talked about. People for things against things I wasn't there for. I'm good with gay people, cross-gender people, anyone who wants to be a good American, I'm good with. I wanted to find out why children were safe. Oh, that's another thing. Well, now, because he's, doesn't want his daughter to be raped by people, he's a bigot. He's against transgender people. He's perpetuating he's this, that, and the third. We'll get into that in a little bit. Smith said that meeting a parent activist approached his wife and started antagonizing her. When Smith explained what happened to his daughter, the parent activist said that's not what happened. She just told him, no, it didn't happen. Because it's not against her ideals, this Karen, because it was a Karen. She's at a board meeting and they were antagonized for being anti-trans. And when he says, no, this is what happened with my daughter, that's not what happened. And it just struck me like, how do you know what happened? You don't even know me. Then she kept going on. The police came and the officer was trying to help out. We need to be kind. And he said, we need to be kind to one another. And I said, okay. I turned my head. She started in on me again, threatened my family business, my livelihood, everything that, gives my family what we need. She threatened to ruin my business on social media. The next thing I know, I'm getting touched from all over the place. I didn't know who was touching me and grabbing me. I turn around. The police are grabbing me. Next thing I know, I'm tackled to the ground. I'm just shocked and horrified. There you go for all you black and blue motherfuckers. That's why I don't back the blue. When they came up with Black Lives Matter, you're like, Blue Lives Matter, thin blue line. Who's going to force you to comply with these mandates? And who's going to help you when something happens to your family? This guy had his daughter assaulted and he ended up being tackled to the ground by the police because of some Karen who didn't like his story. That's the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. That's where again, if you learn nothing from this show, nothing from this channel, do not worship the flesh, and the world is what it is. It's horrible. My man Jay Electronica on the recent Kanye West album said it's starting to look like Sodom and Gomorrah outside. And it really is. It really is. So Smith said he believed the school board members had full intentions of trying to shut down the thing early, referring to the 22nd board meeting. They were tuned out. They were reading magazines. It was a joke. When asked about a second sexual assault that happened October 6th, Smith said it's in fact the same sexual predator he says this is in fact the sexual predator that assaulted my daughter. So that if true, if the alleged story is true, this predator, this kid, was able to last semester or last grade, assault somebody because he was in a skirt, and then potentially assault somebody else. And not only was it covered up by the school board, but when a parent went to question it, he ended up damn near arrested because of a Karen who didn't like the fact that he had anything other than praise over some transgender person. Listen, human beings are all capable of good, evil, and everything under the sun. So just because somebody is transgender does not make them a saint nor a demon necessarily. But for fuck's sake, why can't you just take the facts of the story? And I don't know if this this is true because I said again, we're in the post Me Too world. People lie, but at least get to the bottom. Get to facts. People say, remember Ben Shapiro, facts don't care about your feelings. Well, we're starting to realize feelings are way more important than facts. No matter what we want to be the case, feelings are what rule the day now. Feelings don't care about your facts. They're not gonna let facts get in the way of their narrative. So this man had his whole livelihood threatened for his daughter being assaulted and caring about it. This is the world we live in because you can't say anything bad against any transgender person. And it's not to say you should be saying bad things against transgender people just for the sake of it. But if somebody, and who knows if this person, this alleged assaulter, is even legitimately transgender? They could just be using it as a way or means to an end. But you can't even get the facts on that. You can't even look into it as a parent without being accosted. So this is a more story because apparently the same guy assaulted somebody just last week. We were under the impression from the prosecutor that this predator was being held in house arrest with an ankle monitor and would not return to school until these court sessions were done. You know, you're innocent until proven guilty. I understand that, but we do have to protect everyone at the same time. I was told by everyone, by attorneys, the prosecuting attorneys, friends of the family, people I don't even know, if I want justice for my daughter, then I need to keep my mouth quiet and not speak out because in order to get justice for my daughter, which is the most important thing, I was not, of course, was to not come out and let justice prevail. So everyone told him, don't talk about this. Don't talk about this. It's not convenient. Your reality is not convenient to our feelings. It's against the agenda. Don't talk about it. Could you imagine if the assailant was anything other than the transgender, potential transgender? I don't even think this person is. I think they're using it as a ruse. But because of that, it's like it doesn't matter. All this fucking talk, all these feminists who wanted to stop the quote unquote grape culture. And that same energy, those same group of leftists, or that, you know, the same leftist establishment that was pro-feminism is now literally, in this case, by the what we're getting, everything's alleged, but literally are enabling an assaulter of women. Because if you're a lady, I know not too many ladies watch this. You got one rough girl, is the girl sometimes. You've been replaced. The transgender is more important to you. If you haven't learned that, if you didn't know that, when they were calling you a person with a vagina, or was a baby carrying person, all these other stuff, pregnant people. If you haven't learned that by now, I hope you know it now, because I don't see this getting any better, and I can see this being a real problem. But let's keep reading. Smith said he felt the school board abandoned his family when they went on break for the summer, leaving him to pick up the pieces. Good news, my daughter's doing well, very well. God bless, she's a survivor. She's a winner. An interview with Tucker Carlson, Luke Wozak, the Daily Wire reporter who broke the story discussing the arrest of Smith at the June 22nd board meeting. Yes, this story is possibly one of the most disturbing I ever worked on. Get used to it, pal. It's going to become normal. It raises the possibility that at Loudoun Public Schools, covered up the rape of a 14-year-old girl at the hands of a boy wearing a skirt in order to pass a school policy that the Democrats were adamant about passing. And as a result of concealing that a second girl was, I was just saying the word rape, because this is what happened to him allegedly last week. And to prevent all this from coming out, they potentially arrested the father of the victim and tried to put him in jail. Now he's the face of domestic terrorists. Look at this. I actually said this. He's now listed individually by the National School Boards Association for coming to that meeting. This is like every story we've been covering the past couple weeks, linking itself together. We covered last week with the National School Board Association said that they're going to go to Big Daddy government and go to the FBI for unruly um, parents. So literally, we live in a world where your daughter can be great, and if the assailant belongs to another group, you can be jailed and put on a domestic terrorist list just for caring about it. You still think we live in land of the free, home of the brave? I got I got a bridge in Brooklyn for sale, bro. He's now marked by the FBI, Scarlet Leonard, as a bigot for not wanting his daughter and other victims to be assaulted. That's the world we live in. He didn't come to that meeting because he's a bigot. Rosaic said of Smith, a lot of people thought they knew that guy. They tried out his picture, embarrassing picture, with his belly hanging out and his bloody face. They all thought they knew him. They thought they knew something about him. This was a caring father that was involved because of something personal that happened to his daughter. If they would have shut up and listened to him for 30 seconds, they would have been heartbroken. Instead, they demeaned him, arrested him, and tried to put him in jail. School board passed a controversial 80-40 policy on August 11th, which requires teachers to call students by their preferred pronouns and allow people to use the restroom that align with their preferred gender. Another student in the school district, a 15-year-old boy, or October 6th, so he's still a young kid, was charged with the battery and abduction of a fellow student, according to the sheriff's office. The boy allegedly forced the victim into an empty classroom when he held her against her will and inappropriately touched her. They connected the two assaults, even though the police have not stated whether they're connected. So the father said it was the same victim or same assailant in both cases. Whew. So these incidents were reported to the Loudoun County's Sheriff Office, LCPS, cooperated fully with the investigation. Spokesperson for Ziegler told Fox News, any information related to the story, student information is confidential under state and federal laws regarding privacy. Oh, now there's confidentiality laws. Can you believe that? Now we got to enforce confidentiality laws. A school board meeting in Tuesday, angry parents demanded Ziegler resign from his post. This is not China. This is the United States of America, and we will not be silenced, one mother said, according to Fox News. I got news for that mother. This is China. This is no longer the United States of America. That's not the case anymore. You fell asleep at the wheel, my dukes. All of you did. All of us did. We kept land of the free, home of the brave, flag, this, that, and third. This ain't the land of the free. It's the land of the agenda. This is the land of get with the program. This is the land of there's an authoritarian way you're supposed to do things and think. And if you dare even think of going outside of it, to the gulag with ye. A father looking into an assault of his daughter was jailed and put on a blacklist, an FBI blacklist. That's normal in 2021. It's just Thursday. It's just another day in this country. This is China. If I could wake up all you normies, this is China now. We have a social credit score. If we spend too much money, the government knows about it. If we want to make decisions with our health, they're not on brand. We are castrated for society. And if somebody grapes your daughter and they identify as the right sort of thing, it's A-okay according to this school system and everybody involved with it. I think I'm pissing my neighbors off because I hear rumbling in the apartments next door. I'm screaming. Shit pisses me off. It pisses me off. And if I say the wrong thing on this platform, I'm yeeted. If I say the wrong thing on this platform and a lot of people hear it, they'll yeet me for real. And Vigilante didn't off itself. That's the country we live in. But too many normies asleep at the wheel, even the Republican ones, thinks this is still America. It's not. It's not. America died, and you helped kill it. Move the superintendent immediately and resign for your negligence and duplicity in this nightmare. The 80-40 policy is rushed through a vote without consideration for the safety of all students, simply to satisfy a liberal agenda. A policy you knew full well would allow our children to be abused inside of our schools, one mother said at the school board meeting. At least 2 young women are recent victims of assaults in our schools. One of them in a restroom. What is worse than a child being raped at school? The cover up by those who are trusted with safety and the well being of children, and the arrest of the angry father. Don't forget that. Today, Scott Ziegler must resign for the unconscionable act of allowing an alleged rapist back in school to rape again, and for that cover up. We warned you about policies that you were putting in place that would be a danger to a student. We've seen that happen. When is enough enough? When are you going to change policies to keep our children safe? Never, sir. That's not the goal. That's not the goal. A lot of normie parents, they still don't know what this education system is. They still don't know. They refuse to know. Just the opening story I talked about, the gay Superman, and how did it shock normies when this has been happening? Because normies love to not know. Chris Rock, he said it about a different N-word. Normies love to not know. So these normies, every time critical race theories happen in the public school system, then they'll freak out, not knowing it's been happening. Every time there's a transgender person read, with this dick hanging out, read to the kids, then they freak out, not knowing this has been normalized for a while. Now when you have this incident where a guy was literally, he was publicly shamed as a bigot. He was threatened with his job. He was arrested. All because he spoke out and cared about what was happening to his daughter and was trying to prevent this from happening again, which he was unable to because of but agenda. I really, there's a lot of reasons I wish my channel was bigger. We're growing. I'm proud of all the growth, but I really wish more people, I could just give this story, like, look what's happening in the world, to more people. I wish the people I work with, the normiest of normies, could understand what was really going on in the world. I wish people like that all across the world, all across the country, and other offices, really, I could just shake them up and wake them up, like, look what's going on in this world. Look at the full world and the way it is. But I can't. I got you guys. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your likes, your shares, everything. I appreciate everything. I know I got a lot, I've been ready for a while. Let's see what you guys were talking about, man. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Jesse, you were talking about you guys were talking about Jesse Lee Peterson. And because we were talking about this dude. This guy sounds like Uncle Rex. I'm not a bit Jesse Lee Peterson. He's like I said, I don't worship white people either. I don't do. He has White History Month. You guys are awesome, but I'm not. You're just people. Even kill, man. Even kill. But yeah, Cynthia Ditto's right. This was inevitable. This was inevitable. And if you say that, well, you mean you think all transgender? No, I don't. I think actually a significantly small percentage of transgender people are like this. And again, we don't know that this guy is transgender. I don't necessarily. He probably is not. The assailant, the Jesus, the guy, the rapist. He's probably not transgender. But he's using it as an excuse. So this isn't to reflect transgender individuals. Just like the grooming gangs, it wasn't to cast aspersions to all Muslim people. We just want guilty people to face consequences for their actions and not harm other people. No more, no less. But when there's agenda involved, oh no. And what's up, Darius Moochhouse? A hell of a story to come in on, right? Appreciate you being here. And you guys are still trying to figure out Jesse Lee Peterson. Maybe I should do a rendition as she is a child abuser. Oh boy, I know you're doing your comic. Shout out to Goofanoid, by the way, but that may be too rough for me. Shit, yeah, I did see that. Shit happened in the UK's women's prison. Trans women would sit there and serve a sentence. Ended up raping a few women prisoners. Well, this is what happens when you normalize rape in prison anyway. It's all fun and games when men are doing it to themselves, and now it's an issue. Can't remember. Okay, you still figuring his name. Yep, the father was arrested in that. No, you guys still trying to figure it out. Father of the victim, you mean? Jesse Lee Peterson, Jordan Peterson. No, we already went through this. Father needs to shut up for the sake of inclusivity and diversity. Absolutely. How dare he be a bigot by accusing someone of using this as a ruse to do harm to people, even when there's evidence? What a bigot. And fuck the police. Thank you, Cinch Dildo. You Cinch Dildo those was up. And those weren't cops, they were bailiff court officers. The cops showed up. Still, I know a lot of people worship the police, man. They're not your friend. Government, no matter what state, no what branch of it, they're not your friend. Your emotions do override logic. My feelings are my truth. Your facts are your opinion. Absolutely. That's the way it is now. Their facts are your opinion. I don't believe that's true. Doesn't matter if I have evidence. I don't believe that's true. But truth. But truth. Since you did know. Which is why Silence of the Lamb has to be canceled. Sheesh, it is Silence of the Lamb. Silence of the sheep. Sheep who are silent until the shit hits the fan. And then they oh, what's going on? This was a boy that dressed in the girl's bathroom, raping little girls up the ass. Trans is not what the kid is. Absolutely. I don't think this kid was trans. I think they were just using that as a means to assault people. Did you see that Aussie trans weightlifter named Sportswoman of the Year? Shit's hilarious. That is hilarious. But this maybe that'll wake normies up, but I still don't think it will. I don't think normies will ever wake up. Birthing people. Birthing people. They birthing people, chest feeders. I'd be assaulted if I were a woman. I'm not, so whatever. Some of them are. Some of them are starting to wake up, but now they're turfs. Still pushing feminism, but trans exclusionary radical feminism, which is still stupid. Crowder's YouTube channel was suspended for reporting and commenting on this case. So we can't report. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I'm going to report on it. So hopefully it's still up for the wake down to clip out later. Not I'll just send them to download a back end copy. But I'm still reporting. This is bullshit. This is evil. This is really evil. Yeah, figures. I wonder if they hit Salty for the same story. I hadn't heard of this story. The gender fluid person. Yep. Yeah. We already covered that just last week. And they're not gender. I don't think they're genuinely gender fluid at all. I genuinely don't, Trinoculus P. I appreciate you being here. Yes, you did. YouTube is suppressing this. Well, I'm already being suppressed, so it's par for the course for me. And yep, I'm good. Oh, he said I'm good with taxpayer money going to complete that kid's bottom surgery. How about that? I see what you did there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. We're only being progressive. We are totally pro this guy completely transitioning, if you get my drift. Anesthesia not necessary. Save some money. But I'm with you. I tend to be with you if the alleged reports are true, which I based on the evidence I read, I believe it to be. But you do want to toss that out there because the world is crazy. The world is so crazy. Who knows? Yep. UK police let girls as young as 12 be groomed and pimped out in the name of diversity and racial sensibility. So this doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me either. I said this last year as a slimmer, still fat as fuck vigilante. Before I had any subs, I think even before I was really cool with fandom minutes channels, I talked about how the grooming gangs logic, or not necessarily the logic of the gangs, but the logic of their enablers, where it's racially or it's agenda sensitive, protecting them, that was transporting over here. I cannot tell you which store. I think it was just the BLM stuff. That it just reminded me of. Oh well, I think it was one of the murders or deaths that happened at one of those riots. It struck me as the same sort of logic of, well, this is my agenda. So even when someone does something that's reprehensible, if it's against my agenda, I don't count it. So that's what I saw last year, and now it's being more normalized. And again, normies didn't notice. So one of the parents, this is America. This isn't China. No, it's not, sweetie. You fell asleep at the wheel. This isn't America anymore. No cops should be involved. You know who the person is. Yeah, Graves can be handled without them. I don't think they should be prosecuted at all. Let people take care of their own. I tend to believe, but that's not we don't live in that type of society. He's a domestic terrorist for caring about his child. He's on a domestic terror list for caring about his child. That is the world we live in. And I saw it. It didn't take but a week. Now, honestly, looking at it, they probably had already started this list because it took no time for this shit to already get cracking. As soon as I saw that, oh, they were so angry at the parents, all these unruly parents, they need to be put on a list. Golly, I wish normies don't care. I wish they did. I wish they realized how demonized the state was. I wish they realized how demonized this education system was. I really wish they did. So, but I work with normies and shit. They just, have kids, put them in the education system, don't think nothing about it. They don't think anything about it. They have no fucking clue this is happening. None. None, none, none. And it's been happening for years. Not necessarily to this extent. It's definitely ratcheting up. But they still have no fucking clue. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. It's insane to me. Absolutely insane. People don't give a fuck about any of this until it affects them personally. Exactly. And I'm trying to prevent that. I'm trying to prevent that happening. I'm trying to, try to be a hero, so to speak. I'm trying to stop this. I don't want that. What happened to that young girl or either of the victims, either of the alleged victims, to happen to anyone else. It's not. You're not being a bigot for. You're not being a bigot for prosecuting a criminal. Prosecuting a criminal is not bigotry. I don't even think the person who's committing these crimes is in fact transgender. Yeah, they don't want to hear about this shit. Normies don't want to hear about this shit. Normies don't know. Like Scotty doesn't know. The normies don't know. They refuse to know. This channel is starting to earn a name. Vigilante. Yeah, I like this. I appreciate it, All Thinker. You know, I should check in on my D Live people because I saw some people posting some piff in the D Live the other day, but it was after the fact. Unfortunately, D Live does not show up on the stream as far as in the chat, but you guys are here. And yeah, Boardroom or Board Doom. I'm about to call it Board Room. Board Doom was posted piff talking about the psychological engineering. So thank you for showing up on any of these streams, Board Doom or All Think or anyone else on another platform. Please like, share, all that good stuff. Yeah, that kid's just exploiting the system. I highly doubt. I think that kid, and you know what? I would love to see what's going on with that kid's parents. It wouldn't surprise me if that kid was abused by his crazy ass parents and now is a crazy ass abuser. They all probably need to be put down. And you guys got a lot to say about this, thank God. And for anyone who's just joining me, and apparently this story made the rounds. I didn't see the story making the rounds, but that's because YouTube is suppressing it, and they'll probably suppress this. Yeah, Grapus in the dress is a wolf in sheep clothes, not a transgender. And that's why can't they make that distinction? What's so wrong with making that distinction? Should that be another source of shame for the individual? But the problem is that means there's a flaw in their laws, there's a flaw in their logic. As I said yesterday in the Cultural Crime Fighters, I do believe in institutional racism, and I believe the institution usually is the left because of their terrible laws. And when evidence is shown their laws has a negative consequence, they refuse to go back. Absolutely refuse. Yeah, she's not going to be a goofanoid. Okay. Court is a lot different. Everyone knows that. So Mr. Dragon, Mr. Dragon heard this from Krigler. Thing is, people, all they do is comment, but they really don't do anything. That's what frustrates me with the parent outrage. Nothing against you. Hey, you're right to be frustrated about that. I'm frustrated about that, man. I'm frustrated. I can't do anything. The reason I do this channel is because I hear these stories and I'm like, I can't do shit. I can't do shit. All I do is go to work. I don't even have kids. So I can't even go up to the school board and talk shit about them. I have no method to act, no means to act towards any of the craziness in this world. So in my eyes, at least I can get on YouTube and say my piece because I don't know what else to do. But I 100% agree with you, Mr. Dragon. The whole theme of this episode is the outrage of complicitness and of willful ignorance. I keep using the Superman thing as an avatar for it, the avatar to talk about it. There was a gay Superman and normies got shocked about it. because they didn't want to know every time it led up to here. So now you have stuff like this. I've been talking. If you haven't followed this channel, I think you may be new. That's fine either way. If you go back on the channel, there's a lot of live streams. I get it. We're working through clipping stuff out. But all I've been talking about is how fucked up this indoctrination system is and how fucked up the politics of it is and what they allow. They allow a lot of kids to be touched by teachers and by people according to these unions, and they get away with it. If not for outrage, we wouldn't know anything about it. And I'm frustrated with the parents' outrage too. I keep talking about that. I talked about that with that Antifa teacher. Why did it take you guys years? Why did it take Project Veritas doing a story for you to find out your kid's teacher was a part of Antifa? Why didn't you know based upon you being interested in your own child's life? Because you send them to that damn indoctrination camp as a fucking daycare and you don't give a fuck what happens in it. That's why. That's why. Because if you're waiting on Project Veritas to tell you every crazy teacher, if you're waiting on the news to tell you every time something's happening in the school that you don't know, then you'll be waiting fucking forever because there are countless schools. Why did it take somebody? There's a school in Atlanta segregate, by a black principal segregating people, but it took till it actually happened until like a year or so after it hit a news story for people to know. Why don't the kids or the teachers, not the teachers, the parents of these kids know this is happening live? Why do they need the news to report on it? Why do they need Project Veritas to report on it? Because they're inactive. So I absolutely agree with you on this comment. And I absolutely, hey, if you're tired of outrage people, but in the case of this story, I didn't hear about this story from any other YouTuber. I just checked the post millennial myself. It apparently is being suppressed. You said from Krigler. Some people have said they heard it from Crowder. Apparently Crowder's being suppressed. I guess Salty Man talked about it. The kids pretending to be trans. I called that as soon as the bathroom bill would be passed. A lot of people did. Feel like Tom McDonald said it best. Oh boy, we're gonna get some Tom McDonald beef. Such a deal though. They care more about a like on a selfie than our moms with outrage. People comment. That's why I don't understand from those Republicans who say about this and do nothing. Oh, we talk shit about the Republicans or the conservatives who just want outrage clicks. They just want, oh, do you believe what the libs did? I got no love for those people either. No love for those motherfuckers either. Any more than I do these leftist psychopaths. Hell, just another red shirt. He's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt again. Sit your dildo on cue. Not a Tom McDonald fan. Colleges cover up fraternity initiation. Is playing this trans game in girls' bathrooms and take pictures of women using the bathroom. Yeah, I know there's a lot of crazy shit in these fraternity and sorority initiations that gets covered up until somebody dies. Till somebody dies in the Hazen event, and it's what happened? What is it? I heard something about the way M covers this. The way MSM covers this. The problem was what I heard was on Real Coffee Talk with Scott Adams, bitch. I didn't know Scott Adams of Dilbert fame had his own podcast. Pretty cool. The MSM and Google covers up all these cases. They covered up the 2 college assaults that had the information leaked from banned. Then had the leaked information banned from the search engines. Wow. Not shot, but still fucked up. See people saying hi to each other. The MSM spun this grape case as the father physically assaulted the school board when it was the police assaulting the father by order of the school. Yeah, he never assaulted anyone. Guys say hi. Pull your kids out of public schools. Absolutely. And Trinoculus P funding the Vigilante Cave with a $10 tip. Let's see what he said. Just a tip. Trinoculus P. Do I have? I don't even. It shows how it's been a minute since I got a tip. Appreciate it. I actually think we got one last week. I think we got one during the Coach Crowd Fighters. Let me get into my stream elements. You can tip as well. I see the pinned comment and one of the comments going around. Hang tough, brother. I will hang tough. You'll have to get out of here in a little bit. We are actually gonna probably. I had a couple stories to go through, but time is dictating. We're just gonna hit us with some positivity and then get out of here. But I want to see what you guys are talking about. But yeah, pull your kids out of public schools. Public schooling is child abuse, and normies don't know this. That's how can If I don't care about a dime off of this platform. I thank you, Trinoculus P, for the $10. Thank you, Ogre Squasher, even though you're not here. Hopefully, you at least watching these playbacks. You funded so much of this channel, you owe me nothing. You do more than anyone can ask for. But if I don't give a fuck about a dime. I wish more people knew this was happening. I wish the details of what happened were mainstream, not just mainstream media, you know, fucking everything up and covering things up, but that more people knew this is what's happening in these schools. And this is just the middle. It started, the beginning started a while ago. The schools have been covering these cases up since the bathroom bill was passed. Like I said, they've been covering up way worse cases well before that bathroom bill of their own administrators doing the unthinkable to these kids, and then they just get passed around to a different part of the system, and it gets covered up. This happens all the time with these teachers' unions. I have a daughter. When she was born, I found out exactly what feminist ideas I hold. I see. Forbidden Ruin says my son is grown. This hits close to home because it could have been a victim if he wasn't born when he was. Yeah, yeah. And it's good. There are going to be some male victims too. Believe you me, people who have dicks need to stay the fuck out of women's bathrooms and locker rooms and whatnot. But hey, you're a bigot, and you being a bigot is more important than those women's safety. You bigot, duh. It's easy. I must be going by. I must be going. You may see me on Red Gaze on Wolf Media. There you go. Cool. So bye bye. Fizz Chozo has Goofanoid, which I do a terrible job of plugging, but please, I'll toss it in the chat because he has an Indiegogo. We talk about entertainment a lot on this channel. The only way we're going to get good entertainment is if we make it ourselves and celebrate the people who are making it. Shout out to Fizz Chozo. Here is Goofanoid, please. It's in the chat now. Please give it a check out if that's your thing. PV dropped a hilarious short on a YouTube channel. Sprinting Teletubby from Pfizer. Oh boy. You were right about one thing, that there wasn't any outrage back then to the last minute. Then they started to be outraged when they can have something back then. They just wait until it happens. Yeah, that's the problem. People wait until it happens to be outraged when you can really call a lot of this shit down the line. And a lot of parents just they're just not involved with their kids' lives. They're just not. I get it working. I don't have kids, man. So I can only criticize so much. But if you brought life into this world, man, you got to protect it. And you got to recognize that the system, they don't have your kids' well-being at heart. That's the problem. Normies think the system has their well-being at heart, and it just doesn't. When I was in school, parent-teacher meetings happen in the classroom. Since 2000, they take place in the cafeteria. They've been hiding their intentions at all costs. Yeah, when I was a kid, they were in the classroom. I'm trying to think. There were some in the cafeteria. I didn't even make that connection. And we also know from this pandemic, if your kid's class, if the video went in your kid's class, that they were suppressed. A lot of stuff was suppressed. Got a salute from a man, Fizz Chozo. From Cincinnati, everyone saying hey to each other. The Goofanoid Project. Yeah, shout out to Red Gaze. I hope he can get more people supporting his project. I've done stuff with just a few streams, a few of culture streams we were on together. A bright note I thought about being a good thing. Have you seen Gina Carano post about her new movie on IG with that one picture in the snow in Montana? Look awesome. I have not seen that, Mr. Dragon. I'm a little wary. I hope that new movie comes out okay. I really do. God, I wish I had enough time to talk about all the subjects. I need to start earlier. I really do need to get my ass up earlier because there's so much stuff to cover, and I usually want to cover it all. Because I'll let's show some of the screen. I wanted to talk about this LA councilman indicted on federal corruption charges, just to let you know how corrupt the same government that enables everything is. I really can't. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll save it for tomorrow's show. We will get into some positive stuff though. And let me see. My ex from 2012 to 2017, and I sat in on meetings. They were never in the classroom, but I have been in their classrooms, and they passed the sniff test. That's a good thing. So I wasn't going to check that on Twitter. I saw this on Twitter, and I usually ignore Twitter, but I gotta. Do you guys see the Pornhub most common search terms by state? I don't know if this is accurate or made up, but I do think it's hilarious. First off, my home state is racist, and that's literally. I'm not shocked by this. Um, there's a lot of ethno fetishism back in the great state of Michigan, so I'm not shocked. My current state is pro lesbian, which is more what I look for to feel. The Midwest gotta stop supporting these single moms. What's with this MILF shit all over the Midwest or the Northeast? This part of Midwest and the kind of the Mid Atlantic. And then Kevin James in Tennessee, the most searched pub Pornhub thing. I don't get this, and I also don't get the goth hospitals in Oklahoma. And I gotta love Nebraska, the top search being Ebony. There's something great about, or the droopy balls. And is this Colorado? That's awesome, awesome stuff. So there's nothing Asian. Yeah, Arizona's Asian. Yeah, most of the West Coast is either Asian or lesbian. Shout out to those in Montana. They like the librarians. They're different. That fits. Shout out to the librarians. So this is there's no way to transition out of that subject. So we're trying to do something light, and then we're going to end with some positive news, and then we got to get out of here like yesterday. So these are the steps. This is the weird thing. The stepsister thing is weird. I don't get that, and that's South Carolina, and I can't tell what part of the Northeast, Delaware, one of those states. BDSM is a thing. Threesome in a lot of places. New York is a threesome place. Same with Minnesota. But yeah, I love that. The South. They talk about the South as racist. They love black people. And in Florida, boats and hoes when it comes to Florida. For fuck's sake, droopy balls. Yeah. And shout out to the hot librarians. Yeah, hot librarian. I'm surprised there's not more love for the hot librarian. So yeah, just to like I said, I'm kind of rushing through the end. Hate to do it. I appreciate everybody who showed up. We do have to get to work. So this is on a lighter note, probably not the best transition. I probably just needed a buffer story now that I think about it. I actually did have one, and unfortunately could not get to it. So let's talk about positive things. We can talk about all the shit that humans do to each other that's terrible. Let's talk about shit that's awesome. 4 men stepped up to help a woman after her scooter broke down in the middle of the street in Seminole County, Florida. These young men pushed the elderly woman in a broken scooter home in the pouring rain. Caddy Castro, a public relations representative at the Florida Living Independent Community, witnessed the kind act and posted photos on her neighbor group on Nextdoor. Since it's a very quiet neighborhood, I was surprised to hear commotion last, and 4 gentlemen pushing one of my lady residents under a heavy storm in Florida. They were pushing her up the big slope towards her residence. The heroes were so focused on helping, regardless of the inclement weather. They were even covering her with an umbrella, which showed more compassion on their part. It's a mixed group, so the media would never talk about it because we all are supposed to hate each other. The young men pushed the women about 3/4 of a mile to her home. That's a long way pushing a broken down scooter. As a mom of teenagers, I want my children to grow up like these modern heroes to make a difference, no matter the environment. In these rough, cool times, let's demonstrate compassion to one another, or demonstrate compassion. And this is compassionate. Shout out to these people. Shout out to these kids helping this girl. This guy, at least in this picture, doesn't look like he's doing much, but I'm sure they probably rotate it. So they and he's covering her with the umbrella, so he's trying to help. So everyone's helping this old lady to her home in the rain after her scooter broke down. This is the stuff I like covering as well, because as fucked up as this world is, we got to remember that people do have a tendency to do the right thing when they see it. People do care about each other, and people still do nice things for each other. And the last positive story of the day, and then we're going home on this one. Officers remove a tire that was around a bull elk's neck for 2 years. Now that's wild. Saga of the bull elk with a tire around his neck is finally over. For 2 years, the elk was seen with a tire around his neck. After several attempts, wildlife officials have freed the animal of the hindrance. The bull elk was spotted in Colorado Parks and Wildlife by officer in 2019 while conducting a population survey of the sheep and mountain goats, insisting the wild animal has been spotted a handful of times. Oh my God. So he had that damn thing on his neck for 2 years. Being in the wilderness, we didn't expect to be able to get our hands on the elk just because of the proximity and distance away from civilization. CPW Officer Scott Murdoch said in the press release, it's hard to get further. It's hard to get the further they are back there, and the further these elk are away from people, the wilder they act. That certainly played true the last couple of years. The elk was difficult to find and hard to get close to. Oh man, they had to cut the guy's antlers off. Poor guy. But at least he doesn't have that tire around his neck. I usually read through the whole story, but unfortunately, time restraints are what they are. So it's time to hit the music and get out of here. I want to thank everybody who showed up on this podcast. It obviously had some real dark stuff going on, but it had to be talked about. I don't know what the fuck a goth hospital is either for Forbidden Ruin. And Illinois is on some bullshit, as always. Florida man to the rescue, goth nurses. Got a new search topic. Okay, we're talking about the hub. Still the hub thing. But I want to thank everybody here. Shout out to All Thinker. Shout out to Mr. Dragon. He says it shows there's still good people out there despite what you see on Twitter, TikTok, or any social media where the crazy ones are. I've never seen them out in public, just regular people. Good point. And thank you, Mr. Dragon, for joining. Thank you, Wookiee Supremacy, for joining. Salute to you, Sitch and Dildo. Again, All Thinker and Mr. Dragon, newbies showing up in this world of Vigilante, even though All Thinkers are a little more newbie. Shout out to Stream Elements Bot. Shout out to Forbidden Ruin. Shout out to who else? Trinoculus P. Sheesh. We also got Trinoculus P. Speaking of which, tip the super chat. I appreciate your super chat. It is much appreciated. Shout out to just another red shirt. Low Speculator's laptop. Fizz Chozo, who was here a little earlier. I'm trying to make sure I get everybody. And if I forget you, please blame my head, not my heart. I think that's everybody that I can see. Brightest Day was also here as well in the wake now, who was also kind of an assistant producer on the show going forward. So, all right. Oh, you were initially on YouTube. So there you go. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do so. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. Peace.
Some motherfuckers are